What is up, my fellow warbirds, aka the War Eagles, back, and we are once again on the dev server, the second dev server this time, taking a look at the J35d, which is the new top tier fighter for Sweden. Now, in the first dev server, this thing was just almost unplayable, but in the second dev server, holy cow, this thing got a huge buff. And oh my gosh, it is incredibly fun to fly. But enough of jibber jabbering, let's take a look at it. Alright, so first off, you'll notice that even though its acceleration is not as good as the F4, it has a much shorter takeoff range. Watch this. And we're up. Just like that, this thing loves to fly. It also comes equipped, of course, with a radar. And the radar is pretty decent. Can lock on. But due to its current weapon setup that we will go into in a little bit, it doesn't benefit much from the radar. Alright, so even though its acceleration is decent, its top speed is decent, where this thing excels in is turn radius. That MiG-19 was on my 6, and in less than 5 seconds, I'm able to turn around and get on hits. Now, this thing does have pretty poor energy retention. But, depending on who you're asking, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. In some situations, it's absolutely a positive. Some, it's a negative. For example, in this situation, it was good. 1v1 situations, this thing is going to excel in. So I'm warming up a missile. And he's gone. 1v1 situation, this thing is going to be amazing. Now, had this been an actual match, I probably would have been killed by that MiG. But since this is a dev server, I was able to get away with it. And in fact, I'm pop off another missile and get this guy. Now let me show you a situation where it doesn't always work out. So here we see an F4C. I'm going to dive on this guy. Now I'll get into the weapon systems here in a little bit, but I throw off a missile just to try to get him to turn. Throw another one. And he starts turning. At this point, he's done. And that's a crit. And he's about to go down. Unfortunately, I only get another hit there, but since I had the missile warmed up, I went ahead and just finished him off. So, unfortunately, because I bled all that speed, that Hunter F6 was able to get me. So yes, turning is a great thing, but you have to watch out. Alright, now let's get into the weapon system of this thing. This thing is packing two 30mm Aiden cannons, or Alken, I think it's called in Swedish. Anyway, they're high velocity, high burst mass, 30 mils. So here I am with the FGR2, and my aim is kind of potato. I was still trying to get used to the things. But when they hit, they love to rip and tear. See? Done. Easy peasy. I'll give you another example right here. So I'm diving on this guy. I'm warming up a missile, trying to get him to turn and whatnot. And I just follow him up with it. Throw another one. and he decides to go vertical, which will spell his doom. Now, as far as its air-to-air missiles, they're nothing special. They're pretty much the Swedish versions of the AIM-9Bs. But that doesn't mean they can't kill. So I fire that one just to try to get the T2 to turn, and I shoot another one. Misses again. And boom, he's done. So yeah, unfortunately I threw 3 missiles at one guy on that one, but they're nothing special. Honestly though, I think the best use for these missiles are either getting an opponent to turn to slow down, or if you want to get in close and personal, they'll probably hit. Here's another example of that. So I throw the first missile, and he evades it easy. He's not going to get away from this next one, though. So yeah, they can hit, but they're nothing to write home about. Alright, now one glaring weakness that I do want to point out, especially with only having AIM-9Bs on this thing, is you're not going to be able to catch a lot of things. Especially things that do tend to have faster acceleration and a better top speed. Here we see an F4, and I'm pretty much damaged, and he's just going to run away from me. At least for a little while. There is just no hope in me trying to catch this thing. I'm out of missiles, and he's too far for me to hit accurately with my 30 mils. And I don't want to waste ammo, especially since I only have 180 rounds total. Now, in a second, he's actually going to decide to turn. No idea why. He could have easily just out-accelerated me, and I would have never been able to touch this guy. So why he decides to go into a turn fight with me is beyond me. But that takes care of him. But in reality is, I never should have been able to touch that guy. One other glaring weakness that I do want to point out with this thing is, this thing only has 14 minutes of fuel. So in reality, you're only going to have about 7 minutes of flight time. Especially if you're running Afterburner. But overall, I have to say, I really do enjoy this aircraft. It is fun, it's maneuverable, but you're going to have to play smart with it. I think overall this is going to be a interesting, challenging aircraft, but it's not going to be too hard to play either. Overall, I'd say it's probably a good support aircraft. And with that said, that's going to wrap up the video. If you guys like what you saw, leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't done so already. We're actually very close to 350, and I'd like to honestly try to get to 400 subs. You know, my birthday's coming up, so 400 subs, that'd be a nice birthday gift. I'll also leave the link to Discord in the description below, so go ahead and check that out. And as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed.